Dysfunctional exercise is in the top 2 of 50 factors that are likely to predict relapse in eating disorders, second only to social isolation. So it's a really, really high priority if we are able to address our exercise so that we're at less risk of relapse in ED.
So Alanah, what I'm picking up here, which is actually like a bit of a light bulb moment for me, food and exercise and eating disorder behaviours mimic each other.
Yes.
So if I restrict food, I'm going to have this binge, purge, restrict cycle. Can we say that same with exercise?
I guess it can vary for people.
Yeah.
However, in general, I would anecdotally agree that whatever the thoughts are regarding food, which is something that we also can't take away like a substance, for example, we have to develop a healthful relationship with it. So there are particular, I guess, traits of dysfunctional exercise that seem to be very similar traits to food
mimicking
and
that.
So we know that we also can't get rid of exercise or movement because we have limbs, like we were saying before. So if we develop a healthy relationship with it where we can utilize it to our advantage for health, it's in our best interest to flourish, not just survive in that area. So yes, I think that I always say that there's a square in eating disorder recovery. So there's the medical side of things that needs to be covered, the psychological side, the dietetic side, and we're missing the exercise side. At the moment, it's a triangle.
Yes.
It has to be a square, because movement, even if someone says, oh, I don't like exercise, that's okay. But I would wonder, why don't you like exercise? Or what has happened to not even just be impartial to it?
Yes.
What is the
relationship with our bodies?
Yeah.
Is it that
bodies,
uncomfortableness
minds, everything
in my body and moving my body in an intuitive way? And I know we're going into a broader social conversation that exercise and movement looks like excessive.
Totally.
I don't want to name particular exercises, but this pushing yourself to the limit. To feel the burn.
Yeah, completely,
Yeah.
We know that we want your movement to go up and down. So you can have a higher intensity session if that's nourished and, you have adequate rest and you're listening to the body's cues and the mind's cues before, during and after the exercise, and then adjusting your movement accordingly using your intuitive movement checklist as well, if you'd like. So we want to have troughs and whatever, highs and lows in movement, but I don't mean highs and lows emotionally, although that is normal as well. I sometimes drive to the gym and I drive back out, and I'm an exercise physiologist because I think, no, stuff that, it's not for me today. I need something else, which is part of my intuitive checklist. I'm like, what do I need right now? So you want to have some higher intensity sessions if you'd like, because that can be beneficial at times, but only if you're nourished, have been rested, are following these certain things, and have appropriate cognitions, thoughts behind it. And then we have to have those low intensity sessions. Absolutely. It's like we have weekends from work.
We rest.
Because then you know that you can't go 7 days a week for the whole 80 years of your life. That's not a thing. We accept that we have a weekend. We actually look forward to it, and we do great new things in those weekends. It's the same with our movement. And if we don't have a weekend, we get burnt out and do a crap job of everything the next week. So that is the same with exercise. You can have a good time doing it, then have a bit of a rest and do something new, something else, variety, and then do a good one again the next week. Have another good week. It's exactly the same as a work week and a weekend.
I love that
There's
analogy.
so many normal principles of life that apply to movement. So it's not that go hard, go home is helpful at all. It's actually super harmful. And some of the most elite athletes are good at their intuitive movement, because if they have an outcome oriented approach, which is, I want to get gold at the Olympics, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and they don't listen that their ankle is sprained and they do a sprint training session, well, they're not going to get the gold medal because they're not going to get to the Olympics.
Because they would be hurting.
Because they just completely ignored what was happening. Yeah. Whereas if they had a process-oriented thought process, which is what we talk about, they think, oh, today my ankle's a bit sore. I reckon I can do upper body today, and I'll come back in a few days and I'll do a really good sprint session, more likely to win the gold medal.
Yeah.
So it's the same with us, exactly the same.
In recovery. If I follow these cues and I actually really take time to look after myself and my body.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Alanah for an amazing conversation. We will have a PDF downloadable resource with key points of what we discussed, and of course some of Alanah's amazing resources.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
And we will definitely have more of these conversations. And thank you for helping us understand exercise within the eating disorder recovery.
Thank you so much for your time.